Hi, third grade. Let's get started on math. So, today we're going to start on chapter 4. Chapter 4 is called Multiplication Facts and Strategies. So, when we want to think of multiplication facts and strategies are different ways that we can solve problems. Okay, let's start with show what you know. Doubles and doubles plus 1. So, we have 4 plus 4 equals 8. And then this is doubles plus 1. So here we have 4 and then 4 and then one more. So if we know that 4 plus 4 is 8, then 4 plus 5 would be one more than 8, and that's 9. Same thing here. 2 plus 2 equals 4. And then here we have 2 and then 3. Well, 3 is one more than 2, so 2 plus 3 would be one more than 4, and that would be 5. Okay, let's move on to equal groups. So how many groups are there? 1, 2, 3, 4. And then there are 3 in each. That's 4 groups of 3. How many is that in all? Let's count by threes. 3, 6, 9, 12. Number 4. How many groups are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There are 2 in each. That's 5 groups of 2. Let's count by twos. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. 10 in all. You go ahead and turn the page. We're going to skip math in the real world. And we're going to move on to vocabulary builder. Okay. Complete the tree map by using words with a check. So let's look at the words with a check. We have arrays, commutative property of multiplication, factors, identity property of multiplication, and product. Okay. So let's look at this. So it's called multiplication properties. So we know we're going to be using properties. We have what is this multiplication property? 1 times 4 equals 4. So is that the identity property or the commutative property? Okay, it's the identity property. That is when we're multiplying by 1. So any a number times 1 is going to equal that number. So our answer here is identity. Okay. Now, let's look here. They're pointing to the 1 and the 4 and then the 4. What do we call these numbers 1 and 4? These are the factors. The numbers that you multiply together are called the factors. And then the answer is called the product. Okay, let's move on to this one at the end. The blank property of multiplication. It's showing 3 times 2 equals 2 times 3. This would be the commutative property, where the factors change places. This is when we're looking at the order, the commutative property. And then what are they pointing to here? These organized dots. There's 3, and then 2, and then 2, and then 3. This is called an array. Okay. Now this property here in the middle, the blank property of multiplication. Let's look at these. So we have 4 times 2 times 3, 4 times 2 times 3. So the order of the numbers is the same, but what's different is the parentheses. So here the parentheses are around the 4 and the 2, and then down here they're around the 2 and the 3. This is the associative property of multiplication. The associative property is when the numbers are grouped differently, and then you'll see these things called parentheses. So we'll write associative up here. Okay, let's keep going. We're actually going to skip that page. And what I want you to do now is Go all the way to page 191, and that's where we're going to start lesson 4.1. Okay. So all the way to lesson 4.1, and that's where we're going to start. So lesson 4.1 is called multiply with 2 and 4. How can you multiply with 2 and 4? Okay. Two students are in a play. Each of the students has 3 costumes. How many costumes do they have in all? Okay, so let's circle what we need. There are 2 students that are in a play, and each of the students has 3 costumes. We want to know how many costumes is that in all. So so this is like doing 2 times 3, but there's something special that happens with multiplying by 2. Multiplying when there are 2 equal groups is like adding doubles. Because if we're timesing anything by 2, we're just taking that other number and doubling it. So let's practice. Here we have our 2 groups, and then there will be 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. We have 3 and 3. 2 groups of 3 is just like 3 plus 3. And we know that 3 plus 3 is 6. So there are 6 costumes in all. Okay. Let's do some more. So what we're going to be doing here is really focusing on doubles facts. So we have 2 times 1 equals 1 plus 1, which is 2. 2 times 2 equals 2 plus 2, which is 4. 2 times 3 is the same thing as 3 plus 3, which is 6. 2 times 4 that's the same thing as 4 plus 4 equals 8. 2 times 5 equals 5 plus 5. And what is 5 plus 5? 10. 2 times 6 is the same thing as 6 plus 6. And 6 plus 6 is 12. 2 times 7 equals 7 plus 7. Think, what's 7 plus 7? It's 2 more than 12, 14. 2 times 8 would equal the same thing as 8 plus 8, which is 16. And then 2 times 9 equals the same thing as 9 plus 9, which is 18. Okay, they don't have the last one here. What if we did 2 times 10? That is just like doing 10 plus 10, which is what? 20. So we know that 2 times 10 equals 20. Okay, go ahead and turn the page. Okay, when there are 2 in each group, you can count by 2s to find how many there are in all. There are 4 students with 2 costumes each. How many costumes do they have in all? So now we have 4 students with 2 costumes each. So we know that's going to be 4 students times 2 costumes each. Skip count by drawing jumps on the number line. So we're going to draw 4 jumps. 1, 2, 3, 4. And there should be 2 in each. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. What did we get? 8. So the students have 8 costumes in all. They want us to write costumes. Okay, let's keep going. Okay, use doubles to find 4 times 5. So let's see. When you multiply with 4, you can multiply with 2 and then double the product. Because let's look at the number 4. We know that 4 equals 2 plus 2. So if we're going to multiply by 4, we could multiply by the number 2 and then double that. So let's see. 4 times 5. Let's break this into 2 and then 2, because we know that 2 plus 2 is 4. Okay, so let's do 2 times 5 first. So 2 times 5 is 10. but we're not doing 2 times 5, we're doing 4 times 5. So if we double the number 10, we'll get our answer. So then we have 10 plus 10, which is 20. So we know that 4 times 5 equals 20. Okay, let's just do some more practicing. Double 2 times 7 to find 4 times 7. So let's box the one that we're really doing. We want to find out 4 times 7. So let's do 2 times 7 first. Well, 2 times 7 would be like 7 plus 7, which is 14. And they've done that here for us. Because here's 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. And then we can double 14 to get our answer. 14 plus 14. Well, 4 plus 4 is 8, and 1 plus 1 is 2. So we know that 4 times 7 is 28. Okay. So the pattern here is that when you're multiplying by 4, multiply by 2 first, and then double your answer. Okay, let's do some more practicing. Write a multiplication sentence for the model. So we have 2 groups here, and there are 2 in each. We know that 2 times 2 is 4. Let's do this model. We have 1, 2, 3 groups times 4 is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay. So find the product. 6 times 2. Think, what's 6 plus 6? 6 plus 6 is 12. 9 times 4. Well, let's do 9 times 2 first. 9 times 2 is 18. So then we would have to do 18 plus 18. And 18 plus 18 is 36. So we would know that 9 times 4 is 36. Okay, 2 times 7. Well, what's 7 plus 7 more? 14. 8 times 4. Let's do 8 times 2. 8 times 2 is 16. And then you're thinking, well, what's 16 plus 16? 16 plus 16 is 32. And then we have 5 times 2. What's 5 plus 5? 10. Okay. Oops. Okay, so let's just do some more. Find the product, use your math board. We're just going to do these together. Excuse me. So 10 times 4. For this one, we can count by tens 4 times. Let's do that. We'd have 10, 20, 30, 40. 2 times 9, 2 times 9, think, what's 9 plus 9? And that's 18. 4 times 6. Well, let's do 6 times 2 first. Well, 6 times 2 would be 12. Then what would be 12 plus 12? 12 plus 12 would be 24. 7 times 2 is just doing 7 plus 7. And 7 plus 7 is 14. 2 times 0. Do you remember anything times 0 equals 0? 4 times 3. Well, if we were to cross that out and make it a 2, 2 times 3 would be 6, and then 6 plus 6 would be 12. 2 times 8. What's 8 plus 8? 16. 4 times 4. Well, 4 times 2 would be 8, right? Because 4 times 2 is 8, and then we would double our answer to get to the 4. And 8 plus 8 is 16. 10 times 2, what's 10 plus 10? 20. And then 4 times 5. Let's just count by 5s 4 times. 5, 10, 15, 20. Okay. Okay. Let's move on to completing the table here. So what we're doing here is we're going to times by 2 and then times by 4. So it's going to be like 2 times 1, 2 times 2, 2 times 3, 2 times 4, all the way to 2 times 10. So what would be 2 times 1? Well, anything times 1 is the number, so we'd have 2. And then we're going 2 times 2. Well, what is 2 plus 2? 4. 2 times 3. Think, what's 3 plus 3? 6. 2 times 4. What's 4 plus 4? 8. 2 times 5. What's 5 plus 5? 10. Okay, let's also see the pattern happening here. We're going 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. We're going up by 2s because of because we're timesing by 2. So if we're timesing by 2, our numbers are going to be increasing by 2. So 2 more after 10 would be 12. So 2 times 6 is 12. 2 more would be 14. So 2 times 7 is 14. 2 more would be 16, and 2 times 8 is 16. 2 more would be 18. 2 times 9 is 18. 2 more would be 20, and 2 times 10 is 20. Okay. So now we're going to do our 4s. Well, 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. Okay, let's stop. Look at the relationship between these numbers by timesing by 2 and timesing by 4. They're just doubled. That's what we've been doing. 2 plus 2 is 4. 4 plus 4 is 8. 6 plus 6 is 12. So 8 plus 8 is 16. So we know that 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5, well, what's 10 plus 10? 20. 4 times 6, well, what's 12 plus 12? 24. 4 times 7, what's 14 plus 14? 28. 4 times 8, 16 plus 16 is 32. Now let's stop for a minute and go back. So 4, 8, 12. We're going up by 4s because we're timesing by 4. So 32 plus 4 more would be 36. So we know that 4 times 9 is 36. And then 4 more would be 40. And so we know 4 times 10 is 40. Okay. Oops. Okay. Okay, let's do this next one. Lindsay, Lewis, Sally, and Matt each bring 5 guests to the school play. How many guests did they bring to the school play? Okay, so we have Lindsay, Lewis, Sally, and Matt. That's 1, 2, 3, 4 people, right? 4 people. Each bring 5 guests to the school play. So we know we're doing 4 people. That's 4 times 5 equals 1. So you could do it. You could draw equal groups. You could count by 5s, but let's do it this way. Well, if we were to do 2 times 5, 2 times 5 equals 10, and then double your number. Oh, so that would be 10 plus 10. Well, think, what is 10 plus 10? It's 20. So 4 times 5 is 20, and that's our final answer. Okay, let's go into the next page. Okay, so here we have a picture graph. Let's look at our picture graph before we start. Play tickets. We have Brandon, Haley, Elizabeth. Each ticket equals 2 tickets sold. So it says Miss Peterson's class sold tickets for the school class play. How many tickets in all did Brandon and Haley sell? So let's look at Brandon. If we're going by, if each ticket equals 2 tickets sold, that's 2, 4, 6, 8. Haley would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. Elizabeth would be 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay. So we want to know how many tickets in all did Brandon and Haley sell? Let's underline that. How many tickets in all did Brandon and Haley sell? So what do we need to find? We want to know how many tickets both Brandon and Haley sold. So we're going to have to do Brandon plus Haley to find their total. Okay. So we have Brandon and Haley. Now it says here, why should you multiply to find the number of tickets? No, we're not going to worry about that because we know that we can do Brandon plus Haley and get our answer. So that would be 8 plus 14. 14 is a bigger number, so I'm going to put it on top, and then I'm going to add 8 and line them up by place value. So we have 4 plus 8 is 12, and then 1 plus 1 is 2. Okay, so we know that they together sold 22 tickets. But let's complete the sentence. Brandon sold blank tickets. How many tickets did Brandon sell? Brandon sold 8. Haley sold 14 tickets. So Brandon and Haley sold 22 tickets. Okay. Okay, let's skip to number 27. This will be our last one. Alex exchanges some dollar bills for quarters at the bank. He receives 4 quarters for each dollar bill. Select the number of quarters Alex could receive. Mark all that apply. Okay. So let's see this. Alex is going to the bank and he gets, for every 4 quarters, he gets $1 bill, right? Because 4 quarters equals $1. So we want to know if he goes to the bank and he's giving the cashier quarters, how could he get back $16? Could he get back 18, 24, 32, and 50 or 50? So what we're thinking here is multiples of 4, and we'll definitely do this together. But if he gives, so let's say he gives the cashier $1. That would be 4 quarters. If he gave the cashier $2, that would be 8 quarters. If he gave the cashier $3, that would be 12 quarters. If he gave the cashier $4, that would be 16 quarters. So he could get 16 quarters back. Okay. If he gave the cashier $5, he would get back 20 quarters. So see how we go from 16 to 20? So he would never get back 18 quarters if he's giving dollars. Okay. If he gave the cashier $6, he'd get back 24 quarters. Okay, so he could get back 24. If he gave the cashier $7 before more than 24, he'd get back 28 quarters. If he gave the cashier $8, he'd get back 32 quarters. Okay, so he could get 32. And if he gave the cashier $9, he'd get 36 quarters. And if he gave the cashier $10, he'd get back 40 quarters. So he wouldn't ever get to 50. He would pass 50. Okay. So what we had to do here was go up by 4. So we went 4, 8, 12, 16. I'm going to circle those. 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40. So we're counting by 4. So if we keep going after 40, we would never say 50. So when you go up by 4s, these are the numbers that you would say. Okay, thanks, third grade. Now you need to do your chapter 4, lesson 1 homework.